All right, Shalom. I'd like to start off by giving all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Hakodash. Peace and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone to give us his truth and all his purity. And salutations to all y'all can pushing this word throughout the four corners of the earth in sincerity and in truth. I'm the brother Yahweh and just listen. We'll be touching various topics, various different prophecies that are taking place, with the main one being the MOTB, which is spoken of in Revelation, the 13th chapter. That vision is coming to pass, on an astronomical level, man, to the point where it's undeniable. And Lord's will, I'll post a couple videos in post-production. Hopefully they don't take this lesson down for so-called medical misinformation. This is not medical misinformation. These are actual events and public information, that's that's taking place as we speak. So it is not misinformation to bring these things out, but Esau, a so-called white man, the algorithm is set up so, to where if you speak about it, if you speak on it, negatively, they'll automatically flag your video and take it down because ultimately, they don't want our people, the nation of Israel, you so-called Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, to wake up to the traps that he has set up for you in these latter days, because the war that this devil has is for your mind, for your soul, your spirit. He wants you to, forsake the Most High and declare him as your God, because if you do that, then you lost your power and he'll forever have authority over you, if you deny Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. And how do you deny Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai? By accepting, his wine, his philosophies, his new way of life, his newer order agenda, that he's bringing up on the world. So with that, let's start with Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, and this is in the Good News Translation, the GNTD, and it says, Habakkuk 2:1, I will climb my watchtower and wait to see what the Lord will tell me to say and what answer he will give to my complaint. Yeah, so we're standing up on that watchtower. The Lord told Ezekiel, I have made you a watchman unto the house of Israel. So the prophets, they're spiritual watchmen. Because what's the job of a watchman? He stands on that tower, on that high ground, and he watches for the dangers that's to come and warns the city to prepare themselves. And what does the scripture say about a watchtower? Proverbs 18:10, the name of the Lord is a strong tower, the righteous runneth into it and is safe. So the name of the Lord, this truth, is what that tower is, because this truth gives us foresight, it gives us discretion to see danger, Scripture say, prudent man foreseeth the evil and hideth himself. You hide yourself in these scriptures, man. Psalms the 91st chapter, man. That's what protects us. That's what's, our covering, a shield about us, to hedge us against the danger that's ahead, man. So we're warning the house of Israel. We're blowing the trumpet to warn them. Get ready. War is coming. The enemy is coming, But guess what? They're not taking heed. Therefore, their blood is gonna be upon their own heads when that judgment comes. It says, the Lord gave me this answer. Write down clearly on tablets what I revealed to you so that it can be read at a glance. Put it in writing because it is not yet time for it to come true. Yeah, so it is not yet for time for it to come true, because the Most High, he deals with everything by measure, and by weight, Matter of fact, real quick, 2nd Ezra chapter 4, verse 37. It says, matter of fact, I'm gonna start at 36. The archangel Jeremiah, which we know is talking about Uriel. I don't know why they put that in there. It said the archangel Uriel answers them, it will happen as soon as the complete number of those who have suffered as you have are here, which is talking about the elect, because the Most High, he has the elect, sealed from the beginning, and the elect, they have to go through their journey of, a certain amount of suffering until the Most High give them the knowledge for them to wake up, and he sends the destruction upon Babylon the Great. Revelation, the seventh chapter, goes into how the Most High has the angels holding back the winds of destruction, the winds of the thermonuclear winds, until the elect is sealed. So the elect, once all of them wake up, that's when the Most High is going to unleash upon this place. So it says, for Yahweh has weighed this age, measured the years, and numbered the days. So the Most High weighed this age, what is that? Luke, matter of fact, let me get it in a regular version. Luke, the 21st chapter. How does the Most High weigh this age? Luke 21 and 24. And they shall fall by the edge of the sword. And the day is talking about the children of Israel, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans. We fell by the sword during 70 AD. When the Romans took over Jerusalem, our homeland, and kicked us out, and we became exiles, throughout all the countries that we went into. And also, during slavery, which was a fulfillment of 2 Thessalonians, the 2nd chapter, where the Most High said, we falling away would come first. And also Jeremiah 17 and 4, the Lord said we would discontinue from our heritage. So it says, and they shall fall by the edge of the sword and shall be led away captive into all nations, the transatlantic slave trade. And Jerusalem shall be trodden down of the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. So Jerusalem is being trodden down right now by the Gentiles. Our homeland is inhabited by heathens. You got the Arabs in the land, Palestinians, and they think that they have a right to belong there when not them or the Jays, the people and the land of Israel have any right to dwell in there, man. They both imposters, I hope the video don't get taken down, because I said that, because, YouTube is owned by Jays. Everything is owned by them. But, damn, I lost my train of thought. So Jerusalem is being trodden down by them. And not only our homeland, we know Jerusalem is also, spiritually talking about the people, because the Most High says he made the place for the people's sake and not the people for the place's sake, So we're being trodden down by the heathens. They're over us. We're at the bottom of society, man, But it says it's going to happen until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. So the Most High, he had a certain amount of time for every kingdom and empire to rule. When you read the book of Daniel's, it goes into that, how the Assyrians would have their time, then would come the Babylonians, then would come the Persians, Persians and the Medes, and then would come the Greeks, and then the Romans. And then it tells you in Revelation, the 13th chapter, how America is the beast, back then, which was talking about Rome, reincarnated. It says the beast would continue for a little season, So we're in that little season now. So America only has a certain amount of time to rule, and they can't go past that, man, because the Most High has weighed the ages in a balance. So Jerusalem shall be trodden down to the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles be fulfilled. And who would the time of the Gentiles be ending with, would be fulfilled with? Esau, the so-called white man. 2nd Ezra 6 and 9. Esau is the end of the world, So that's how we know we in that time, man. So back in 2nd Ezra chapter 4, verse 37, for Yahweh has weighed this age, measured the years, and numbered the days. Nothing will be changed until time has run its predetermined course. So the Most High, he's bound by his word. He's bound by his prophecies. So he can't, frustrate, his prophecies, man. He can't make them happen any sooner, or he can make them happen any later. They were appointed from the beginning. And the Most High is not a man that he should lie. So if he says something is going to happen, he's going to do it. It might not be on your timing. It's going to be on his timing, you know? Because one day to the Lord is 1,000 years to man. So it may seem like it's taking a while, but really in the spiritual realm, it's really happening very fast. But that's it on that. Now let's get back to Habakkuk. Or is it Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 3 says, put it in writing because it has not yet come, yet time for it to come true, but the time is coming quickly, and what I show you will come true. So the time is coming quickly, man. You know, we're in that time, man. Every single year, every single month, every single week, every single day, every single minute, second that goes by brings us closer to the end, you know, of this kingdom, man. You know, it's coming quickly. It says it may seem slow in coming, but wait for it. Yeah, because at one point in time, it seemed like nothing was really happening. You know, when the apostles was, you know, coming up, you know, going out there, man, it wasn't really nothing happening, man. You know, it wasn't no, CHIP being implemented. Although it was on the works back then, it wasn't really being pushed like that. You know, neither was so much wars and rumors of wars and so many pestilences, chariot sightings. Things wasn't happening like that back then. But the closer we get to the end, the prophecies started, unfolding themselves at a very fast pace, man. And I know Apostle Tahar, you know, he brings it out from time to time, and all the apostles. I think it was Masha, either Masha or Yaikwab, that told him that it's gonna come a time where, you know, these prophecies are gonna be undeniable, where it's gonna be happening so much that it's gonna be undeniable. You know, not quoting him verbatim, but you know, that's what he said, man. And we seeing that happening now, man. Which that's how we know who the true prophets are. Because no churches, you know, is going to tell you about all these prophecies and reveal them, you know, unto you as our elders have, man. You know, you wouldn't have this understanding like we have it now. Like we wouldn't see this clearly, man. To us, it's just plain to see. Like, you know, we see the prophecies, we read the book, you know, we see the current events, we know this is it, you know. So the Wadi Yahweh Bashim Ashah for raising those men to give us guidance, man. But let me finish. It says it may seem slow in coming, but wait for it because it will certainly take place. It would not be delayed. Yeah, so it would not be delayed. You know, like the scriptures say. What is it? Isaiah. Get that real quick. Isaiah chapter 42. Verse 9, it says, I'm going to start at 8. It says, I alone am the Lord, Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, your power. No other God may share my glory. I will not let idols share my praise. So no other gods could get the praise Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai gets. And what separates the Most High from idols? Prophecies. That's what proves his existence. That's what proves that his word is true. It says the things I predicted have now come true. So we've seen them now come to pass, man. Because this vision wasn't meant for our forefathers' time. It wasn't meant for, you know, our grandparents' times and, you know, people that was before us. It was meant for this time. Yahweh Shah said all these prophecies, this generation will not pass until these prophecies be fulfilled, man. You know? So we know we're living in that generation now. It says, now I will tell you of new things even before they begin to happen. So new things is happening, man. Before they happen, man. Revelation, the book of Revelation tells you about all the new things that would happen in the future. John the Revelator, he saw this beast system. You know, he saw this New World Order agenda, this great reset. You know, and he describes it in Revelation, the 13th chapter, Revelation 17, Revelation 18. You know, it goes into all of that, man. But you got guys that make it seem like the system we being established is not something that will be scriptural, man. Oh, listen to these conspiracy nuts. You know, It's June, ain't no microchip. But now you're seeing them switching their tunes, talking about digital currencies all of a sudden, when you never touched on those topics before, man. How convenient is it for you to do lessons on the MOTB not being the micro C hip, but then you are going into digital currencies, man? So what they're doing, like Apostle Ramla been saying, is they're setting it up so that when it come to pass, they can say, see, we've been talking about it, but at the MOTB though, you know? So that's it on that. Now, matter of fact, let me get some articles. I'm gonna just probably read the titles because it's gonna take a while to, even go through all of them. But right here we have this article. It says Australian banks refusing to honor cash withdrawals as World Economic Forum declares war on cash. So there's a war on cash. And as you can see, this picture, cashless society. So this is what we transitioning into, man. A digital world, a digital currency, where cash will be obsolete. You could have $1 million in cash saved up, but in the time we're coming into, that ain't gonna mean nothing. It ain't gonna mean nothing, man. Everything is going digital, and it's gonna give these powers that be total control over humanity, man. It says Australian mainstream media has announced we have taken a major step toward a cashless society as major Australian banks refuse to honor cash withdrawals by customers. So this is an all operational lockstep where they all moving in, like a synergy. They're all moving in as a troop, as a garrison, because all those banks is owned by the same people. The IMF and all those central banks of every country is owned by the powers that be, the elites, the banksters, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the DuPonts, those people, man, to fulfill their agenda, which ultimately is the agenda of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. Because there's New World Order agenda, there's New World Disorder, because that's what it really is, a New World Disorder. The real New World Order is going to be when Yahushua comes and establishes the kingdom of heaven. So this New World Disorder agenda that they're pushing is really the Most High's New World Order, New World Disorder, man, to bring forth his prophecies. Because the Most High said they would be doing these things, man. So that's it on that. And second, we have World Economic Forum. Digital cash will allow us to abolish the Second Amendment. So the powers, the power that they're going to have by implementing this digital system is going to dictate people's actions. You won't be able, your money will be programmable. So if you decide to, for your right to bear arms to buy weapons, that's over with. Your money's not going to function. They can literally dictate every aspect of your life. You won't be able to, and like the scripture say in Revelation the 13th chapter, and we're going to get that too. You're not going to be able to buy or sell unless you have that. So your transactions will be limited to what they want you to do. And only way you'll be able to make those transactions is if you have that device up in your body, man, under your skin. The MOTB, the micro C hip. It says the World Economic Forum has boasted that one of the benefits of digital cash will be the death of gun ownership in America and the abolishment of the Second Amendment. Yeah, because America is the most armed country in the world, So they know Americans, especially Esau, because that was his blessing that was given unto him. The Lord told him that he would live by the sword. So they love their blessing. They love their sword, and they're not easily going to give that up. So by them implementing this thing, they'll be able to stop people, from buying weapons so that they can stand up against the tyrannical, government, the tyrannical power that they established upon the world, So that's it on that. Like I said, I'm not going to read all the articles. Y'all could go ahead and look these up yourselves. It says, IMF leader declares our global CBDC will be mandatory for all. Yeah, Revelation 13. He calls it all, both small and great. You see, rich and poor. So everybody will be subjected unto that, man. You got, IUIC and, these other camps that'll say, well, you got countries, that's third world countries, that's not even digitalized. So how is that going to happen? Because they're not digitalized, they're years behind. Well, all will be subjected unto it, man. And you got to understand, the elites, they have, as they say, they have the power of gods on the earth. They got power to make things move. They print the money, So therefore, they could easily have a third world country set up an infrastructure for it to be fully digitalized in a matter of, weeks or so. Look at Jamaica. They're going digital, man. And that's a third world country. You see? Even Haiti, they got their own Haitian digital dollar, man. Everybody's going digital. Why is that? Where's that leading towards, man? You got to be stupid to not see what's going on out here, man. International Monetary Fund, IMF leader, which is the bank that lends money to all these different central banks all over the world, to these countries, which is owned by the elites. It says Kristalina Georgieva has declared that the globalist organization is working hard on a global CBDC platform that will be mandatory for all citizens of the world. New world order. It will no longer be any borders. It will all be one people, which shows you that this place is the new Babylon the Great. Babylon, man. Because ancient Babel, which that's what the word Babylon goes back to, Babel. They had the tower that they were building up to the heavens, and it wanted for all people to be one, So that's what Esau's establishing, man. Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, as you read on, it says, he gathereth unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people. He's as definite as hell and never be satisfied, man. So he wants the whole world to be under his authority and his rule. So that's it on that. It says, European president admits CBDC will be used to control humanity. Total control. Like when you watch that interview with Alex Jones and Aaron Russo, which was a friend of Nick Rockefeller, where Nick Rockefeller told him the agenda, is ultimately to see-hip everybody in the world, and they'll have total control. That's exactly what he said. It says the president of the EU, the European Central Bank, has admitted that CBDCs will grant the global elites more power to control humanity. So they just, ever since 2020, it just full-fledged just came out with their plan. They're not even hiding it anymore. They're telling you to your face what they're going to do, man. Or you got people that's quiet about this thing among Israel, man. About these things that they're bringing, man. Want to have weddings and parties, man. Passover parties and fashion shows, TV shows, wrestling matches, man. Got you in the bread, mirth, and circuses spirit to not see, the most important things that's taking place before your eyes, man. And when they touch on it, they act like it's not a big deal. You see? So the Lord is about to bring a lot of judgment amongst our people, man. So here you have another one that says Federal Reserve certifies 57 organizations for instant payment system FedNow. Now, when you look into this whole FedNow system that they're bringing, it's going to be a version of Cash App, Zelle, Venmo, PayPal, but on a federal level, backed by the so-called Federal Reserve, which it's not a federal entity. It's really a private company. They just stamped that name federal on there to have people believe that it's the government, behind it. But really it's private interest that's behind it, man. The elites control it. You see? So you have 57 organizations, which is going into these different banks. JP Morgan Chase, and mad other different banks signed up for it. They already had their tests running. Because remember, back in, I think it was February, March, April, they had a 12-week testing period, where they was going to test the system, and they said it's successful. And this month, they're supposed to bring it out, the FedNow. By June 20th, I believe, they're supposed to bring it out, and pretty much it's a prelude to the CBDC, And, like I said, I'm going to post couple videos in post production. I'll put it together where they pretty much explain, go into depths of what the CBDC is gonna be. How the Fed now is gonna lead into the CBDC. It's pretty much the prelude to it, man. But it says the United States Federal Reserve has made a significant announcement regarding the certification of 57 organizations, including financial institutions and service providers, for the highly anticipated launch of the FedNow service, with major players in the banking industry such as JP Morgan Chase, Bank of New York Mellon, US Bancorp, and Wells Fargo among the certified entities named by the Fed. The stage is set for a transformative shift in the financial landscape. So it's going to be a shift from cash, tangible money, which, cash is not real money. It's really monopoly money. When you go into the scriptures, it tells you real substance is gold, silver, and cattle and land, But nevertheless, at least this cash is something physical you could touch, you could feel, it's tangible. But with this digital thing, you're not even going to see it. If you see it, it's just going to be numbers on a fucking screen, man. You're not going to be able to hold it in your hand, man. It says the Federal Reserve has disclosed that 57 early adopter organizations have successfully completed formal testing and certification for the upcoming FedNow service launch planned for late July. So there it is, man. We in that time. Right now is July 8th? Yeah, July 8th. So another 3 weeks. Another 2-3 weeks. Another 2 weeks, I say. It's gonna be on the 20th, I believe. So another 2 weeks and we in there, man. So, and I also had this one. This ties in also to that whole digital ID, digital dollar that's coming to pass. This is Biden admin increases number of migrants allowed into U.S. each day using controversial app. U.S. Customs and Border Protection has once again expanded the number of migrants it allows into the U.S. at the border via its CBP1 mobile app. So you see how they set it up. At first it was, the apps, but eventually it'll lead to actual a physical device that's gonna be implanted in you. It's not spiritual, man. It's not, you go up to the cashier, say, oh, well, I ate pork today. Can I, I could pay for this $1,000 worth of items. That don't even make sense, man. Or, I slept with a whole three white women this week. So I got, they tell you it's anything except what it actually is. Embargo, sleeping with white women, a philosophy, sin. They spin it every way they can, man, to trap you up in their web of lies and deceit. So when the day of trouble comes, you're going to get snatched up. You're going to get snatched up, man. I'm talking to you Israelites that know you Israelites, man. But we understand that, this is just your lot. Lord's willing, we don't partake of that, because, how about Shemashah got to choose you for you not to take that mark, man. If you're not part of the elect, man, you're going to fall for it, whether you know you're Israelite or not, But, yeah, so, real soon, it's going to be from an app to actual see him, man. Like you see in China, they got the 15-minute cities, where you have to scan your phone, your face, facial recognition, to get into those cities. And you can't get past that gate unless you have that. You can't go to your house. It's going to be the same thing, man. They've been talking about digital IDs, man. Soon it's going to be required for you to drive on the highways, to board a plane, to hop on a train, to get gas, to buy groceries. You're going to need it all, And what best device to have all of it included in there than the micro C-hip, man. So you got this one here. It says end of the dollar. SCO nations to abandon U.S. dollar shift to domestic currencies for financial transactions. And, you got the BRICS. They're ready to launch their own currency. And you have hundreds of nations that's lined up ready to roll forward, man. And they have their own digital currency backed by gold and oil and precious metals, So don't be fooled, don't be fooled by that, man, because the elites, they control both sides. They control the left and the right to make people seem like they have the illusion of choice, making them think, oh, nah, I don't fuck with America, I'm gonna rock with Russia and the BRICS nations. But really, the elites control them both, because why would they have a digital currency as opposed to having a tangible one? They're on the elites payroll as well, man. So now that's it on that. Now let's get the book of Revelation. This is Revelation chapter 13, verse I'm gonna start at 15. Matter of fact, I'm gonna start at 13. It says, this second beast performed great miracles. And the second beast is going into Rome. And Rome got revived as America. That's why they call it the Renaissance, which is a French word which means rebirth. So during the Renaissance, they came back, they brought back their Roman Empire on the world, which is why when you look at the Capitol, all these different judicial buildings, they all formed after Roman architecture. They have Roman numerals. Their judicial language is in Latin. So it shows you this is Rome reincarnated, man. And there's multiple documentaries and videos where people in the world that don't even know this truth talk about how America's the new Rome and it's falling the same way. Same signs that happened before Rome's downfall is happening now. That debauchery was at an all-time high. The morality of the people became very decayed. Now you got LGQRTBG, being pushed upon the children, being pushed all over society. You can't even turn the TV on without seeing that abominable thing, man. So there's that, and also bread and circuses. You got all types of movies coming out, all types of distractions out here, And then you have, they had the denaries, which was their currency. They used a method called shaving, where they would cut the actual weight of gold that was in each coin, and they would mix it with other alloys, other metals, such as copper, to make it seem like it's the same thing. But it really, over time, people woke up to it being really not what it is, man. The dollar has lost its value. Same way, overprinting a dollar, So a dollar, 5 years ago was worth way more than a dollar now, man. But it says the second beast performed great miracles. It made fire come down out of heaven to earth in the sight of everyone. And the way they did that was during the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. They made fire to come down from heaven. And that was a one wonder. That was a miracle, man. To see that, fire coming out from the sky, it got the nations shook, man. Where they worship the beast. Like the scriptures say, they say, who was able to make war with the beast, man? They worship the beast because of it, man. Like, man, these people on the level of gods, man. They're running, dropping fire from the sky. Like, who gonna stop them, man? So it says, and it deceived all the people living on earth by means of the miracle which it was allowed to perform in the presence of the first beast. And those miracles is his technology. They have C-hips, that they tested on people. They've been testing them for years. People that's paraplegic, that can't walk, that can't move at all. Put a C-hip in them, and now they're starting to walk. or people that can't see, put a C-hip in them and they could see digitally, you know? So that's a left-hand miracles, man. Because Yahushua, when he did his miracles, it was straight by the spirit of the Most High, man. He touched people and they were healed immediately. He didn't need no technology, no device to heal people, man. But the left hand is always weaker than the right. Therefore, they need some form of medium, you know, to connect them, you know, to their left hand spirituality to so-called heal people, man. Which is a trap for your soul, ultimately, man. Because remember, in Egypt, Pharaoh and his magi's did the same miracles that Moses and Aaron did. But Moses and Aaron's miracles was greater than theirs. And Moses' serpents swallowed up their serpents, man. To show you how more powerful the right hand is than the left. So they're going to do their miracles on the left hand. How much more for us, you know, Lord's will with the elect on the right hand, man? The power of healing is coming back, you know? Well, they're going to be doing that. And then, you know, you're going to have the elect, you know, that's in the world. They're going to see that where they might be tempted to, you know, take the C-hip, you know, well, not might, you know, they will be tempted. We all going to be tempted. Like the scriptures say, the hour of temptation is going to come upon the whole world to try them that dwell upon the earth. So they might see this thing and, you know, be tempted to take it. But then they might see, you know, brothers in different camps in real life or, you know, on social media, on the internet, healing people with just the power of their word or with their shadow like Peter did or by just being in the presence of those people, man. And they're going to make that choice like, nah, you know what? Nah, I'm going to go with them guys right here. Spirit is going to guide them, man. But it says, and it deceived all the people living on earth by the means of those miracles, which it was allowed to perform in the presence of the first beast. The beast told them to build an image in honor of the beast that had been wounded by the sword and yet lived. So that image is their way of life, you know? Like they had this saying, when in Rome, do as the Romans do. Well, when in America, do as Americans do. That's where you get the term westernization from, man. Because who's this spearheading the Western culture? America. So everybody's following after them. That's why all these nations, they're modeling their countries, their systems after America's image, man. And it says, the second beast was allowed to breathe life into the image of the first beast so that the image could talk and put to death all those who would not worship it. So we're coming into a time where if you don't agree with what's being pushed on the mainstream media and the narratives that they're putting out there, you're going to be put to death. You know, they already have laws and legislation set up to where if you don't agree with what they're saying, you're going to get prison time, man. Look at Michigan. They just passed a law on that. Joe Biden got legislations in the works for that, man, to combat misinformation, you know? So they're going to use that as a tactic to get people to fall in line, you know? Because when they hear of people that was speaking up against the government getting their head chopped off, you know, by guillotines, and that's in the book of Revelations, you know? I forgot what chapter. It might be the 21st chapter. Or the 20th chapter, going into the ones that's going to be beheaded for the sake of Yahushua, which is going to be the elect. But you're also going to have people that's not part of the elect, that's not going to fall, that's not going to, you know, be down with this thing, man. You know, you got all types of Edomites, you know, preppers, which a lot of them are Jakes, but they don't have the truth. You know, they might be, you know, Bible Belt Edomites won't say, nah, we ain't going to stand for this. You know, and once people seeing them get put to death, a lot of them, they're just going to give up and fall in line, man. Hey, an example I could think of was Joe Ventura. That was his name, if I'm not mistaken. Joe Ventura. I forgot his, it might be some Ventura. But he used to always bring out so-called conspiracies going into, you know, the V. And eventually there's going to come a time where they're going to create a pandemic where they're going to have people take these V's. And then come 2020, he saw the backlash people was getting, man. Man shook, and he went ahead and took his thing, man. And he spoke forward, man. You know? So a lot of people are full of shit, you know? So it says, the beast forced all the people, small and great, rich and poor, slave and free, to have a mark placed on their right hands or on their foreheads. So everybody's going to be subjected to this thing. And we read it. Both the United Nations, the IMF, the World Economic Forum all said digital currency will be mandatory for all countries, man. So you mean to tell me John the Revelator didn't see that? You know? So that mark, you know, we already know what it's going into, because when you look into the word mark, is charagma, you know, which is, you know, an incision, a cutting in your flesh, a stamp, where they're going to stamp that you're their property, a branding. Like it says, one of the definitions is a branding up on a horse. When you brand a horse, you letting people know this is belong to you. This is your property. So that stake, that palisade, that incision will be a testament, you know, that you're saying that the elites is your owners and not Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah. So it says, no one could buy or sell without this mark, that is the beast's name or the number that stands for the name. So you won't be able to buy or sell without having this thing. You know, this whole system will shift from a physical dollar to a digital dollar, you know, and they'll put restrictions and limits on things you can buy and things you can't buy. They came out the other day, the World Economic Forum has said every person will only be allowed 3 items of clothing per year. And the clothing you're going to have, everything you have will be rented, because their slogan is what? You will own nothing and be happy. So the TV you have, you're going to rent that. The furniture in your house, you're going to rent that. You know, the air you breathe in, you're going to rent that. That's why they have this term carbon tax, man. Carbon footprint, where they blaming you for so-called climate change. And that's another thing that's being pushed heavy, you know, to justify their, you know, tyrannical agenda that they're pushing, man. Climate change, the earth is dying, and, you know, which we know they're the ones behind all of this. If the earth, you know, the earth is being polluted, but the way they make it seem as if, hey, man, we're about to die right now if we don't stop this shit. But it's being polluted by them, by their industries, man. They're the biggest polluters of the world with their all these different industries that's polluting all these different environments, and then blaming the average citizen that has nothing to do with that for these things, man, and telling you gotta die for the planet to live, man. You know? So we see where this thing is leading, man. And the UN just warned, real quick, UN climate change. They just warned the UN, look, there it is. UN says climate change out of control after likely hottest week on record, which we know these devils, they have power over the weather, the HARP system that they have, and other different technologies that allow them to create clouds, you know, change weather patterns, you know, like that devil Yuval Noah Harari had said at the World Economic Forum Summit, said, what do we need God for? We could create rain, we could do this, we could do that. What's the point of having a God? That's what he said, man. So these devils, they're the ones behind it, man. And remember, they deemed this year the year of polycrisis when they had their meeting. Look, 2023 is fast becoming the year of the polycrisis, which poly means many, and crisis, we already know what crisis is. Many business commentators agree in a white paper gathering the views and advice of a group of global business leaders, PR and communications experts, is highlighting the top 10 habit boards need to change to ride out the turbulence. Title 2023, The Perfect Storm. So the perfect storm for them to accomplish their agenda, man. They're going to be hitting people on all sides, you know, on all sides, man. This is an attack, a siege against humanity, man, you know. But you got people that's too blind to see what's going on, man. And good for them, because they're going to get caught off guard. That's why the scriptures say the day of the Lord is going to come as a thief of the night. It's going to hit them out of nowhere because they're not watching for these prophecies, man. You see? So that's it on that. Now, let me get the scripture in Genesis chapter 47, verse 13. It says, the famine was so severe. As a matter of fact, speaking of famine, let's see. Famine. Because the UN just came out and talked about man-made famines is going to cause hundreds of millions. Look, yep. UN human rights chief warns of global famine risks. Our environment is burning. It is melting, flooding, depleting, drying up, dying, said Volker Turk, which ties into that whole climate change bullshit. And they're the ones behind it, man. You know? Bill Gates been talking about a plan to block out the sun because of so-called global warming. And you see the past weeks, ever since spring, man, you know, it's been a lot of gloomy days where it's sunny out, but the sun is blocked by smoke, you know, which, you know, at first it was the Canadian wildfires, you know, but, you know, they said it's still burning to now, but they're using that as a means to poison the world, the population. You know, real quick, you know, Slack if I'm all over the place, but I don't want to forget. Matter of fact, let me see if I could. There it is. Yep. World Economic Forum insider admits Canadian wildfires being used to poison Americans. The World Economic Forum penetrated nation of Canada is being used as ground zero to launch a devastating chemical attack on the United States to poison the population, reduce our lifespans, and depopulate the earth. So that's the agenda. That, what's it called? That Georgia Guidestone agenda. They said the population has to be reduced down to 500 million to be more manageable for the system that they're bringing. You know? So they're the ones behind it, man. They're the ones using the harp to cause all these different weather events, but then blaming you for eating meat. You eat too much cows. You farting too much. You're the problem. United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights Volker Turk warned Monday in a debate that the world is heading for a scenario with millions of people at risk of famine as a result of climate change. So famine is coming, man, in a big way. Since climate change is projected to put up to 80 million more people at risk of famine by the middle of this century, which they always make it seem like, you know, it's going to be, you know, in the far future, but it's really in the near future, man. It says Turk told the 53rd session of the UN Human Rights Council, which ends July 14th in Geneva, Switzerland. According to the official, in 2021, more than 828 million people faced hunger. So that number is going to be in the billions, man. Because this world, you know, depends and operates on, you know, on this grid, which, you know, they've been talking about blackouts as well due to so-called climate change once again, and cyber attacks. So once they cut off this power grid, most Western nations, which are dependent upon this power grid, you know, will be decimated, man. They did a study where they said if they cut off the power grid, 90% of the U.S. population would die within the first couple months, man. That's how much, you know, critical this grid is, man. So back in Genesis 47 and 13, it says, the famine was so severe that there was no food anywhere, and the people of Egypt and Canaan became weak with hunger. So they brought grain. Joseph collected all the money and took it to the palace. When all the money in Egypt and Canaan was spent, the Egyptians came to Joseph and said, give us food. Don't let us die. Do something. Our money is all gone. So people are going to beg the modern Pharaoh, you know, for this system, man. Because once they collapse the dollar, people will accept any new way that's going to get them out of the predicament that they're put in. You know, once you know your dollar won't be able to buy anything, you lost your jobs, there's layoffs, there's nothing to do. and the government comes and tells you, yo, listen, we can fix things. If you take this thing, you'll be able to get your little rations. And we'll start you off with a little 500 in Cbdc. And as soon as you get it, you're already taxed on that. Hey, man, this devil, he don't play fair, man. It says, Joseph answered, bring your livestock. I will give you food in exchange for it if your money is all gone. So they brought their livestock to Joseph and he gave them food in exchange for their horses. So you will own nothing and be happy. So people is going to give up all their property for some form of security. Sheep, goats, cattle, and donkeys. That year he supplied them with food in exchange for all their livestock. It says, the following year they came to him and said, we will not hide the fact from you, sir, that our money is all gone and our livestock belongs to you. There is nothing left to give you except our bodies and our lands. So that's what people is going to say. They're going to get so desperate that they're going to tell the elites, man, hey, man, use us as collateral for the debt, that we have. We don't got nothing, no other resource besides ourselves. So hip us up, sign me up. I need to eat. I got family to feed, man. That's what these people are going to say within themselves, man. Now let's go to the book of Revelation, the 6th chapter. And this is Revelation chapter 6, verse 8. It says, I looked, and there was a pale colored horse. Now, the pale colored horse, the horse represents power. So the power that governs, that dictate different things happening on the earth is pale, because Esau is a pale man. But really what that's going into is a time of fear, a time of great calamity that's coming upon the earth. That's what that pale horse represents, which is going to be, which is the elites on that pale horse. Like I did this last lesson going into this Bithce, Edomite dog. She said, we are the riders of the pale horse. She said at least 1/4 of the human population have to be exterminated. We're the Most High, we're the riders of the pale horse, and death the Most High selects and we destroy. That's what she said, man. So that's talking about the elites, man, and the calamities that they're bringing upon the world. Jeremiah, the 30th chapter and 7th verse says what? Wherefore do I see every man with paleness on his face, some to that effect, going into Jacob's trouble. So that's the time that we're in. His rider name was named Death and Hades, which Hades is hell, followed close behind. So death and hell, like it says, is Habakkuk the 2nd chapter. Esau is as death and is as hell. So wherever he goes, death and destruction follows. So this whole New World Order agenda is gonna be a dystopian, hellish society, man, where your soul, your spirit is gonna be oppressed, man. That's why the Lord said, if you don't shorten the days, no flesh shall be saved. It says they were given authority over 1/4 of the earth to kill by means of war, famine, disease, and wild animals. And that's what they're doing, man. They're orchestrating this World War III. You had this BlackRock executive, he was caught on camera by the same organizations. What was his name? James O'Keefe, the one that was behind Project Veritas. They had an undercover journalist that went on a so-called date with the nigga. And he basically said, yeah, BlackRock, profits from the Ukraine war. They made trillions of dollars from it already. And they said it's going to be a means to depopulate the earth. When they make money off killing people, man. And who owns BlackRock? You don't see no name behind that company. I wonder why that is. Because it's owned by the powers that be. It says, yeah, that's the point on that. Now, okay, let's get 2nd Ezra. Hey, because the Most High, man, he's plaguing this place, man, with war, famine, disease, and wild animals. You got plagues of the flies in New York City. You got giant African snails, poisonous snails in Florida where they quarantine the area. You know, you got plague locusts, crickets, fucking up shit. You know, all over the world, man. And the Lord is gonna keep intensifying them, man. Wild animals, ferocious animals are gonna be coming in packs of lions, packs of wolves, packs of bears is gonna be tearing the cities apart, man. Hey, the scriptures tell you in the book of 2nd Ezra that the wild beasts shall change their places, man. This is 2nd Ezra chapter 9, verse 1. He answered and said, consider all these things very carefully. When you see that some of the signs I have told you about have appeared, you will know that the time has come when the Most High Yahweh Hashem Yahshua will bring judgment on the world he has created. So we're living in a time of judgment. It says there will be earthquakes, national rebellions, international intrigues, unstable leaders, and confused rulers. And we're seeing that. We got friends rising up now against their government, and now they shut down the internet because they blame the social media for the violence. You know, which that always a psyop, operation to basically, as a test run to bring the same thing over here to the West, man. They're gonna shut down the internet, where it's not gonna be it's not gonna be available to you to go and look up alternative news or look up the truth and things that don't go along with their own narrative, man. It says there will be earthquakes. So that's those unnatural disasters. And we're seeing that intensifying every day. National rebellions. So it's going to be civil unrest all over the world. International intrigues, unstable rulers and leaders and confused rulers. When you see these things happening, you will know that they are what the Most High God has spoken about since the beginning of creation. So this is how we know the Most High exists. The Most High says he declares the end from the beginning. All right. So these things were written of thousands of years before we were born, and we've seen them taking place. So that's a stamp and proof that Yahweh Hashem Yahshua is real. The beginning and the end of everything that happens in this world are clear. The same is true in the world above. Wonders and miracles show the beginning of events, and mighty signs show when they end. All right. So it says some people will escape destruction and be saved by their good works and by their faith. So that's what we're doing now. So that when these times come, we could be protected by Yahweh Hashem Yahshua. It says all of them will survive the dangers I have described and will enjoy the salvation provided in the land that I have set apart from eternity as my own. So the elect, they're going to inherit the kingdom of heaven. They're going to transition, through these dangers to get into the kingdom, man, because Yahshua is going to preserve them. It says, then those who have ignored my ways and held them in contempt will be surprised when they find themselves in continual torment. So Jake is going to be surprised. It's going to catch them off guard. Like it says, the day of the Lord is going to come as a thief of the night, man. Real quick, and get this precept. Isaiah chapter 33, verse 14. It says, verse 13. It says, hear ye that are far off and what I have done, and ye that are near acknowledge my might. So we seen the might of Yahweh Hashem Yahshua. We seen his power through the works that he's bringing up on the earth. So we're acknowledging it by, reading these scriptures, doing these lessons and going out there and prophesying. It says the sinners in Zion are afraid. 2/3 of our people, when they hear certain news come up, they get shook up. Oh, I can't deal with that. What are we going to do? And they go right back into the world doing the same bullshit they was doing. 2020, and there was a threat of World War III. Motherfuckers, they got shook, man. They wanted to get right with the Most High. But as things went along, motherfuckers, they went right back to their bullshit, man. So it says, the sinners of Zion are afraid. Fearfulness have surprised the hypocrites. So Jake is going to be surprised, man. Let's see what that word surprise is in the Hebrew. It's achad. It says, grass take hold, seas take possession, grass take hold, to be caught. So you be caught. You're going to be snared by the traps of this devil, man. You're gonna be ensnared in his web, in his system that he's bringing, man. You know, you've been denying all these years that the MOTB is not the mark. So when it comes now, hey man, Jake ain't gonna know what to do. They're gonna get shook up in their minds, man. They're gonna be presented with this option in their mind. GMS was saying this. Bishop Nathaniel, ISUBK General Yohana was saying that. You know? Well, it do sound what GMS was saying was right. But nah, fuck them niggas. Them niggas is rapists anyways. Them niggas is bums. That's what they're gonna say in their minds to justify, you know, going the route of their leaders, man. They're gonna say fuck it and take it. You know? But it says faithfulness have surprised the hypocrites. Who among us shall dwell with the devouring fire? Who among us shall dwell with everlasting burnings? So the only ones that's going to make it is the elect, as you read down. Those that, it says, he that walketh righteously and speaketh uprightly, and that despiseth the gain of oppressions. And that's the thing, too. You got these guys, you know, they're not speaking against it because they're sellouts. They took a bag. They made a covenant with death, so they can't speak against the things that death is bringing, you know, because they're going to lead you into that ditch, man. They're set up to bring you into your own destruction. You see? So the ones that's not doing that is the only ones that's going to make it through the fire. You know, the nuclear destruction that's coming, man. Yahweh Shai is going to send his angels to beam them up into the heavens so that they could look at destruction from space, man. You know? So the ones of you that take it, as it is written in Revelation 14:9, those that take it, you're going to drink the wrath of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua, which is poured out without mixture, man. All right. So back in 2 Ezra 9 and 10, it says, this will include all those who ignored me while they were alive, even though they accepted the blessings I gave them. So you know you were Israelite, you accepted that blessing, but you choose to ignore Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua's prophecies, man. So you're going to be destroyed in continual torment, man. You know, like it says about the destruction, they have no rest day and night who worship the beast in his image. So that destruction, although it's going to be an hour, is going to feel like an eternity, man. It says it will include all those who have scorned my Lord during the time they were free to do so. So it's free for you, you know, to do the laws now, man, to come back to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushua and repent, you know. The doors of mercies are being closed, man. Yahweh Shah said, enter in at the straight gate. For wide is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in therein. But the narrow is the way that leads to life, and few there be that find it, man. So the gate is wide. Many people know they're Israelites, man. But so few know about what's really, you know, how deep this truth goes, man. What's the intricacies of this knowledge. And how the Israelites come into this truth to just, you know, have the garments, the comely garments and weddings and rap concerts and it's the Israelite party, you know, that worldly spirit, man, you know, but they're ensnaring themselves, man. It says it will include all those who scorned my Lord during the time they were free to do so, all those who refused to repent when they still had the chance. The torment they will have suffered after death will force them to recognize the truth. So in the regular KJV, it says they're going to know the law after death by pain. So after they be destroyed, they're going to be reborn in the kingdom and understand that they were off and that was their lot. You know, like it says in Daniel, the 12th chapter, it's going to be some that await to everlasting shame and contempt. You see? So yeah, that's pretty much it on that. You know, I'm gonna end the lesson here, and Lord's will, you know, I'm gonna do another one going into these different plays that are taking place, you know, because we can't ignore those at all, man. It's so much happening. Hey, man, we could barely keep up, you know. So with that, I'm gonna give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua, Ba'ashim Chakodash, peace and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone to give us his truth and all his purity, and salutations to all you accomplishing this word throughout the four corners of the earth in sincerity and the truth. Shalom, or Bad Babor. Shalom.